the Scots have a hot take. It says, while neither company is doing their best work at the moment, Triple H should be a little embarrassed that Tony Khan could book a show at the same level. 30 years in the business versus a nerd with a bunch of money, lol.
You know, dude, I'm of two minds on this one here. I have kind of like I'm sort of both sidesing this. On one hand, Tony Khan has successfully booked a wrestling promotion into $185 million a year. Yes, he's had a lot of money to buy a lot of great talent. And maybe that makes things easier. But, you know, he books these pay-per-views that are wildly successful. I know he doesn't do the wrestling, and sometimes maybe it's easy just to sort of set up shows. But his product doesn't really do what WWE does. So much of his product relies on the wrestling, and he doesn't do that. WWE, in my estimation, books much more entertaining week-to-week stories that build in a way that naturally lead to the premium live event blow-off matches. He knows the language much better than Tony Khan does, and in my opinion, that's a much harder thing to do than what Tony Khan does. So yeah, Tony Khan has successfully made a shit ton of money now, because I think they stand to profit between 60 and 75 million a year, which is very impressive, and nobody else has done that. But I feel like Triple H, there's a reason why WWE gets the big deals that they get, because he books his stuff in a way that I feel like it's not that easy to do, and I don't think Tony Khan does what he does.
I mean, if you kind of take a wider view of things and look at what WWE is doing in terms of how compelling their stories are versus what AEW is doing, I think whatever gap there gets narrower. You know, obviously wrestling television, doing it 52 weeks a year, every year, no off season, is an incredibly difficult task. Continually make it as somewhat compelling. But, you know, and you could debate about the details, but, you know, the sentiment here expressed by the Scots, while neither company is doing their best work at the moment, that seems to be maybe obviously not unanimous. I don't even know if it's a majority, but it's a common sentiment amongst at least the comments that we get in our videos and these hot takes threads. That WWE is a bit of a lull. AEW, likewise, maybe not hitting on all cylinders. So I guess in terms of 2025, the race of competency here is pretty close to a draw.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is just for me. I would still watch any episode of Raw, unless it's like a special, oh my God, we're going to have Hangman versus Okada episode of Dynamite. It's just, I don't know. It's about the characters and the stories and stuff. And I feel like look, man, I could sit here and write down time for an all-star match. Just write down a bunch of names.
Well, let me ask you this. If Tony Khan is the one booking the shows and as well as coming up with storylines, yeah, he's not, but neither is Triple H in this regard, getting down to the details of the matches, but wouldn't Tony Khan want certain story beats to happen during or following a match to lead to the next segment that he has planned and booked out? So in that sense, he is a little bit involved in the wrestling aspect of it.
Yeah, look, man, I don't think I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about like the kind of, I don't know how all that works.
Because I don't think it's simply as simple as like, oh, we're going to have this show on the match, or this match on the show, this match on the show.
Oh, you're right. I'm boiling it down. I am oversimplifying it. You're right. I am oversimplifying it. But I do feel like what WWE does is it's more complex and it's more impressive than what AEW does. I think AEW has got so many great wrestlers, but I think there is some truth to my gag about time for an all-star tag match. here's a bunch of names. Y'all could do some really cool shit out there.
Yeah, sometimes there's those kind of filler tag matches. I don't.
There's a kernel of truth. I think the one thing that I'm really bummed out about is that I think the one story that I think Tony Khan is actually coming up with is now sidelined because the clone storyline can't proceed because hologram.
If hologram hadn't gotten hurt in about 2 weeks' time, you'd be.
Dude, it might be like
singing
fucking
a different
Citizen
song.
Kane. It might be Tony Khan Citizen Kane, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, look, overall, that's why I say I'm kind of two minds. I think what WWE does is more impressive and it's more difficult to do than what Tony Khan does. But if you look at it extremely big picture,
That's what I was talking about.
it's all pro wrestling, and the guy in very short period of time is profiting quite a bit off of him running pro wrestling.
Yep.
So that's why I'm sort of like on two minds here, man.